Am I the a-hole for keeping my family from eating till 5 p.m.? My wife and I met her family, sister-in-law and husband, over the weekend in Seattle. They live in Atlanta and flew in for a mini vacation. We decided to stay in a hotel together as they admitted to being a bit nervous about being in a city they didn't know. They are in their 30s. I suspected they were looking for us to do a lot of the mental load of the trip. This will be confirmed later. My sister-in-law is slow. One of the slowest people I've ever met. She takes her sweet time and on numerous occasions has almost missed flights, been late to appointments or whatever. She takes nearly an hour to do her makeup every morning and another 20 to get dressed. My wife also loves makeup. Takes her 20 minutes max to toss together a look plus clothes. Sister-in-law's husband always waits and doesn't rush her. As does most of her family, she holds up entire events on her schedule. We had an afternoon boat cruise tour on Saturday at 3:30 p.m. We had booked and wanted to get up and see the city before settling onto the boat. We all agreed to be up and out the door at 9:30 a.m. I told them that we were out the door by 9:30 a.m. and that if they were moving a bit slower, they could meet up with us. Cue a mini glower from my sister-in-law, but no comment. Saturday morning my sister-in-law wakes up at 8:50 a.m. and begins her pokey routine. Everyone is waiting as she groggily lays out her makeup and then turns on a YouTube video to watch for entertainment. I was already irritated, but we did say 9:30 a.m., so maybe a miracle would happen. We got to 9:32 a.m. and she was just beginning her eyes. My wife and I left telling them to let us know when they left and we'd drop the location. I could already see a visible pout growing on sister-in-law, but ignored it. My wife and I went to Pike Place, messed around and had a blast. By 1 p.m. we still had not heard from them despite checking in. 2:30 we text and say to meet at the pier as the boat does not wait for late arrivals. Lo and behold, they make it to the pier. The boat has no food or drinks. Instant whining from a sister-in-law who says, they haven't eaten all day. I was confused. They stayed in the hotel until we texted them to get to the pier. Sister-in-law took 1.5 hours and then they just messed around in the room until they had to get to the pier. They ate after the tour and then whined about how everything was closed. It was past 6 p.m. by then. Later that evening, my sister-in-law and hubby told us they were upset we had abandoned them in a strange city. I told them it was not my job to be their travel guide and mom. They live in a big city and can figure out how to feed themselves or get places. My sister-in-law said they were hoping we'd show them around as we live in the area. I countered with, we told you where to meet us. You had the money and ability to Uber to us. Nope. They wanted us to wait until our sister-in-law had finished her makeup routine and then we find a spot to eat and create the itinerary. Needless to say, the next morning the slow makeup routine was back. We left to go home before she got to the lips. So, am I the a-hole for leaving them in a hotel and ruining their trip?